image standing beneath the daytime sky when, little by little, the sunlight begins to disappear. The world grows strangely quiet. Shadows become sharper. The temperature begins to fall. And above you, the moon slowly moves across the face of the sun, transforming an ordinary summer day into one of the most spectacular sights the sky can offer. On August 12, 2026, a total solar eclipse will cross parts of the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain. But this isn't simply another eclipse appearing on a calendar. There are several reasons why this particular event deserves extraordinary attention. First, it is a total solar eclipse, meaning the moon will completely cover the visible disk of the sun for observers inside the narrow path of totality. During those precious moments, the brilliant solar surface disappears and the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, becomes visible. Second, the eclipse will pass over Iceland and northern Spain, giving millions of people across parts of Europe an opportunity to witness totality without traveling to extremely remote locations. For many observers, this makes the event far more accessible than other total eclipses. Third, the timing is remarkable. The eclipse occurs during the Northern Hemisphere's summer, when many people are already traveling and spending more time outdoors. That creates an unusual combination of astronomy and adventure. Fourth, the path of totality is extremely narrow. Just outside it, observers will see only a partial eclipse. But inside it, day can briefly become twilight-like as the moon completely blocks the sun. Fifth, the moon's shadow will race across Earth at tremendous speed. What looks almost motionless in the sky is actually part of a gigantic celestial geometry involving Earth, moon, and sun moving through space. Sixth, totality creates phenomena that cannot be reproduced by an ordinary partial eclipse. Bright stars and planets may become easier to see. The horizon can glow with stars. Seventh, every total solar eclipse is temporary. The alignment that produces totality exists only for a very short period before the moon continues along its orbit. The darkness is not permanent. It is a fleeting cosmic coincidence. And eighth, perhaps the most fascinating reason, is that total solar eclipses are becoming increasingly rare on Earth over astronomical timescales. The moon is slowly moving farther away from our planet. As its apparent size gradually decreases, there will eventually come a distant era when the moon can no longer completely cover the sun. That means every total solar eclipse we experience belongs to a special chapter in Earth's astronomical history. The 2026 eclipse is therefore more than a beautiful event. It is a demonstration of celestial precision. Three worlds will line up with extraordinary accuracy: the sun, the moon, and Earth. Millions of kilometers of space will separate them, yet their positions will align closely enough for the moon's shadow to sweep across the surface of our planet. For a few unforgettable minutes, daylight will surrender to darkness. The sun will seem to vanish. The moon will appear as a perfect black disk, and around it, the invisible atmosphere of our star will suddenly become visible. This is why the 2026 solar eclipse deserves to be remembered. Not because the universe is putting on a show for us, but because we happen to live at a remarkable moment in cosmic history on a planet where the moon and sun appear almost perfectly matched in size from our perspective. So when August 12th, 2026 arrives, look upward, but only with proper eclipse eye protection during the partial phases. And if you are fortunate enough to stand inside the path of totality, prepare for something that lasts only minutes, but can remain unforgettable for a lifetime. The darkness will pass. The sun will return. But for those brief moments, the sky will reveal just how precise, powerful, and astonishing our universe truly is. A rare total solar eclipse. The 2026 eclipse will create a spectacular moment when the moon completely blocks the sun, revealing the solar corona. That a total solar eclipse is one of the rarest and most breathtaking sights the human eye can witness. It happens when the moon moves directly between Earth and the sun, perfectly aligning itself so that it blocks the sun's bright surface from view. During the 2026 solar eclipse, observers within the narrow path of totality will experience this extraordinary alignment as daylight gradually transforms into darkness. The change can feel almost unreal. The sky begins to darken, temperatures may drop, and the surroundings can take on an unusual twilight appearance. Then comes the most spectacular moment, totality. The brilliant solar disk disappears completely behind the moon, leaving a dark circle surrounded by the sun's delicate outer atmosphere, known as the corona. Normally, the sun's intense brightness makes the corona impossible to see with the naked eye. But during totality, it becomes visible as glowing structures extending outward into space. What makes this even more fascinating is how precisely the sizes of the sun and moon appear to match from Earth. The sun is vastly larger than the moon, but it is also much farther away. This remarkable combination makes both objects appear nearly the same size in our sky, allowing the moon to completely cover the sun. The eclipse is therefore more than a beautiful celestial event. It is a demonstration of extraordinary cosmic geometry, happening at exactly the right place and time. For those standing within the path of totality, the experience can last only a few precious minutes, but the memory can remain unforgettable for a lifetime that a remarkable path across Earth. The eclipse will pass through regions including Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain, making totality accessible to many observers. One of the most remarkable features of the 2026 solar eclipse is the path its shad, called the umbra, covers only a limited portion of our planet. Outside this path, people may still see a partial eclipse, but they will not experience the dramatic moment when the sun is completely hidden. On August 12, 2026, the eclipse will travel across parts of the Arctic region, Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain. This makes the event especially exciting because some locations within Europe will have an opportunity to experience totality. For many skywatchers, this creates the possibility of combining an extraordinary astronomical event with travel and exploration. As the moon's shadow moves across Earth's surface, different locations will experience totality at different times. The shadow itself moves rapidly, turning the eclipse into a brief cosmic journey across the planet. Observers standing only a short distance outside the path may witness a dramatic partial eclipse, while those positioned inside the central path can see the sun completely disappear behind the moon. This narrow path is one of the reasons preparation matters so much. Weather conditions, location, and timing can determine whether someone sees a clear view of totality or only clouds and darkness. The 2026 eclipse, therefore, offers more than a beautiful view of the sky. It creates a temporary celestial pathway across Earth, giving people in selected regions a rare opportunity to stand directly beneath the moon's shadow and experience one of nature's most extraordinary spectacles. The extraordinary experience of totality, darkness during daytime, falling temperatures, strange shadows, visible stars and planets, and the glowing solar corona make totality unlike a normal partial eclipse. What makes a total solar eclipse truly extraordinary is the experience of totality itself. Before totality begins, the world may appear almost normal, but the light slowly changes as the moon moves across the sun's shadows, can become unusually sharp, the temperature may begin to fall, and the sky gradually take. Yet this incredible darkness does not last long. Totality is measured in minutes, making every second precious for observers within the path. As the moon continues along its orbit, sunlight begins to return, and the strange darkness gradually disappears. That fleeting transformation is what makes totality so unforgettable. It is not simply an eclipse. It is a brief moment when the familiar daytime world changes dramatically because of a precise celestial alignment millions of kilometers away. Perfect cosmic alignment. The event depends on an extraordinary alignment of the sun, moon, and Earth, allowing the moon's shadow to sweep across Earth's surface. A solar eclipse is one of the clearest demonstrations of how precisely the objects in our solar system move through space. The 2026 eclipse depends on an extraordinary alignment between the Sun, Moon, and Earth. These three worlds are separated by enormous distances, yet their positions will line up closely enough for the Moon to pass directly in front of the Sun from our perspective on Earth. It is this geometry that allows the Moon's shadow to reach our planet. The Sun is vastly larger than the Moon, but it is also much farther away. Because of this incredible difference in distance and size, both objects appear surprisingly similar in size when viewed from Earth. When the alignment is just right, the Moon can cover the brilliant solar disk almost perfectly. What seems like a simple coincidence is actually the result of orbital motion and perspective working together. The Moon travels around Earth, while Earth travels around the Sun. Their orbits are constantly changing their positions in space, which means a perfect alignment does not happen every month. Most new moons pass slightly above or below the Sun from our viewpoint, because the Moon's orbit is tilted relative to Earth's orbit around the Sun during a total eclipse. However, the alignment becomes precise enough for the Moon's darkest shadow to sweep across Earth. A glimpse into Earth's astronomical future. The Moon is gradually moving away from Earth, meaning total solar eclipses will eventually become impossible, making today's total eclipses part of a unique period in cosmic history. There is another reason total solar eclipses feel so precious. They're not a permanent feature of Earth's future. The Moon is slowly moving away from Earth at an average rate of roughly a few centimeters each year. This gradual change is caused by the interaction between Earth's rotation, ocean tides, and the Moon's orbit. Although the change is far too small to notice during a human lifetime, over millions and billions of years, it becomes significant. Today, the Moon can sometimes appear large enough in our sky to completely cover the Sun during a total solar eclipse. This is possible because the Moon's apparent size and the Sun's apparent size can be remarkably similar when viewed from Earth. But as the Moon continues to move farther away, its apparent size will slowly decrease. Eventually, in the distant future, the Moon will no longer appear large enough to completely cover the Sun. Total solar eclipses will then disappear from Earth, replaced by annular eclipses in which a bright ring of sunlight remains visible around the Moon. This gives modern total solar eclipses a fascinating place in astronomical history. We happen to live during a period when the Moon and Sun can create this extraordinary visual alignment. The 2026 eclipse is therefore not simply another event in a long calendar of eclipses. It is part of a temporary era in Earth's cosmic story. When the Moon's shadow crosses our planet, it reminds us that the universe is constantly changing, even when those changes happen too slowly for us to notice. The darkness of totality may last only minutes, but the astronomical circumstances that make it possible have developed over immense stretches of time and will eventually change forever.